welcome to episode 56 of the Tundra cast. Today I'm joined by Shay,
What's up, guys?
Quarrel,
What's up? Yeah, there we go.
and Nick.
Hey, how you doing?
And today we're going to be talking about trade targets, sort of like trade bait.
Yeah, so we did this last season, I think a bit too late. It was like 5 days before the deadline, and by then all the big names were gone. So we're doing it a bit earlier today. It's 17 days from the deadline when we're recording this, and there's still a lot of names on the board. So let's just get to it, I guess. So I'm going to be using the fourth period trade watch list, and there's 35 names on here. We'll see if we can get through all of them. So the first name on this list is Jacob Chikrin, and for me, I don't think the Coyotes should really trade Chikrin unless they get like a huge haul. I think that's a guy you want to build your team around, especially since you're probably going to get Shane Wright this year. You're probably going to get Connor Bedard next year. And I mean, Chikrin's is an elite defenseman. He's probably he's gonna win a Norris someday. And you have a top pair defenseman right there, along with a guy like Victor Soderstrom. And there's teams like LA reported on him, Toronto, Anaheim, Carolina. But I wouldn't trade him.
Uh, from a Arizona Coyote standpoint, yeah, I definitely agree with you. I wouldn't trade Chikrin because he's just like a really good defenseman and he's young, so he could stick around for a while if he wanted him to, because he's still got 3 years on his contract. He would be an RFA once it expires, I believe. I think.
Yeah, he would be an RFA.
I believe he is. Yep.
Yeah, but the Leafs fan in me really wants this dude because he's good at hockey, and Muzzin's been out. He may be out, so get someone else to play lefty on that second pair. Because I don't want Justin Holler, and even though he's been decent the last couple games, but other ones, I think you mentioned LA's been one of them, right, Shay?
Yeah,
they're like I think they're the front runners right now, is what I've been hearing a lot. But I don't, but any team that gets Jacob Chikrin, they do well in that trade.
Yeah, realistically, I don't see Arizona trading Chitrin unless they get a very good return.
I agree.
But the team that is gonna be the one to be able to offer the best return for him is definitely LA. I could see them giving up some picks along with maybe Dursey and
I would think Turcotte has to go in that deal too.
Turcotte, yeah.
Turcotte.
Yeah,
Maybe
100%.
they could maybe try to entice him with Velarde or someone. Try to stay away from Turcotte. But
I don't know though, because
it wouldn't be enough. I don't think it'd be enough.
You got to think about it this time. It is Arizona.
But Bill Armstrong hasn't done that bad of a job, to be fair.
No, that is true, but they may want Velarde as someone who they can just plug in there and have, and maybe potentially grow instead of like a Turcotte who's not even ready.
That's fair.
It's
true. I just don't.
Yeah, I just don't. I agree 100% with you guys are saying too. But I think LA is desirable just because of all the assets they have. He's probably most likely to go just because I think Arizona's probably gonna get the best deal from them.
Oh,
yeah.
But I agree too. Like, I don't know if Jacob Chikrin's a guy you really want to be trading. I look at a guy like Shane Gostisbehere who's making around the same money. Who's actually having a pretty good year. I think you capitalize more on a better year from him and trying to get assets for him than a guy like Chikrin. I think Chikrin's kind of a defenseman, like you guys said, he can build around for the future. So he's on an amazing contract as well. So I don't see why they would move him. And he's only 23 years old. Yeah, he should be staying there. So
yeah. Next player. And this is the guy that's probably going to be dealt at the deadline, and that's Claude Giroux out of the Flyers. Now, the biggest thing about Giroux is that he has an $8.25 million cap hit, so the Flyers have to retain 50%. He has a full no-move clause, and the team's interested, per the fourth period, Colorado, Boston, Florida, St. Louis, and Carolina once more. I think what I've heard just through Twitter and stuff, that the leading contenders are the Avs. I think the Avs were scouting the Flyers' AHL team, and they liked a couple of their prospects. The Flyers were scouting the Avs' AHL team. They liked a couple of their prospects. I mean, Claude Giroux in that top six with Nazem Kadri, Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, Gabe Landeskog, that's scary. That is scary.
Yeah, when you look at Giroux, I mean, he's 34 years old at this point. He probably wants to win a cup, and Colorado's probably the best place he's going to go right now. Maybe Florida. I see Florida on that list too. I mean, I think if something drastic happens, I think we're most likely going to see him going to Colorado at the deadline. And Philadelphia is one of those teams that just have to blow it up now, and Giroux is going to be one of the leading candidates going. So I didn't know he was 34 as well. I thought he was a little bit younger. I thought he was still like in his like early 30s there, but.
Yeah, he's
I
definitely.
think Colorado for sure.
He's been decent, obviously. 39 points so far in his 50 games played, but he's not at a level where he's been in previous years. But playing on a better team, like because obviously Philadelphia's ballsack. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you mentioned Carolina's on there too. I think that would be a good fit too, because I think if anything, Carolina could improve a bit at center. I don't know if you guys agree about that.
I think a little bit, just a tiny bit.
Yeah, I agree. I'm pretty sure there have been reports of Giroux only wanting to waive his clause for Colorado. That could definitely change. I also think that Colorado has a lot more to offer.
Yeah.
And than any other team. And if Colorado does want to go full in, they could trade someone like very valuable to try to make it easier to make other deals, such as trading away Bowen Byram, which obviously seems insane and you don't want to do it. But if you're going full in, especially with Bowen Byram's injury problems lately, which I hope he can get past, but you could try to flip him in there if you want to.
And like another team I'm surprised at is like St. Louis, because they already have a great forward core in itself. Like, Kyrie, Thomas, Tarasenko, O'Reilly. It's a great well-rounded forward core. So it's interesting to see St. Louis in there. I thought they'd be more target defensemen. Number 3, it's a defenseman. He just got 2 goals yesterday too. Ben Scheroth, baby.
Hell yeah.
Guys, did you not hear Tampa Bay's broadcast confirmed that he was traded?
Toronto, right?
Yeah, he got traded to Toronto. That's what Tampa Bay's broadcast said.
News.
I'm just gonna leave. You guys can talk.
That is confirmed news.
So the teams interested are St. Louis, Calgary, Toronto, LA, Florida, Rangers, and Boston. For some reason, this guy's gonna get a first-round pick and a top prospect. And whoever pays that are the biggest losers at the deadline. And
he's going to Toronto.
I hope so.
Stop.
Jake Muzzin just got injured. He's going to Toronto.
Stop.
He is.
I mean,
Willie Nylander in a first. It's happening.
He got 2 goals yesterday. He has to be good.
Yeah.
You guys are funny.
He's amazing.
It's probably not going to be Toronto, considering Dubas doesn't even want to trade their first-round pick this year.
Yeah, Dubas could see, like, it could be like, yeah, we'll give you Tarasenko and Kyrou, and we'll retain all of their salary, even though that shouldn't happen. We'll just retain all their salary, and he'd be like, no, we want first-round pick.
We want first-round pick. But the biggest, the number one team we've been hearing on Scheroth are the St. Louis Blues. And, like, I know the St. Louis Blues have a defensive problem. They're not that deep on defense. They can definitely improve, but I don't know if Ben Scheroth's the way to go. I don't know.
Ben Scheroth's never the way to go, just saying.
Just not, yeah. But he's definitely going to be traded. I mean, hopefully it's on the 21st and not before, because we need to have something to talk about that date. Because the only thing that day we had to talk about was Manfoot, and that was like at the end of the stream.
Yeah, the only reason that stream was even interesting is because I kept accidentally predicting things.
Oh yeah, no, Thomas Crosby's gonna come back, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm gonna return.
Number 4, and that guy I think will probably move, and that's John Klingberg. Now, while Dallas has been moving up in the standings mostly due to Jake Ottinger, Klingberg still doesn't want to resign. He's going to test the market, and I just think, like, the Stars couldn't go anywhere in the playoffs. They could push maybe 6-7 games in the first-round series, but that's about it. And the teams linked to Klingberg, Carolina, Florida. I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but it's like these are the best teams in the league. Carolina, Florida, Calgary, the Rangers, Tampa Bay, and Toronto.
If he goes to Tampa Bay, I'm quitting hockey. Like, this goes to the NBA. Like, I'm quitting hockey, seriously.
Could go to Tampa Bay.
50% retained to Buffalo, then 50% retained back to Tampa. That's like 1.5 million right there, or 1.2 million.
Yeah, there are a lot of ways to make it work. His cap hit isn't like overall that high, like Drew's is.
And the one team we've been hearing a lot connected to Klingberg is Carolina, and I can see why. Like, no, the Kings have a great defense core, but the right side's kind of shoddy. I mean, Tony DeAngelo can't play defense. Brett
I thought you were
Pesci,
gonna say a different word.
well, Brett Pesci's a good tough for defenseman, and for some reason they've been scratching Ethan Bear. I don't know why. That's the dumbest decision they can make. But so
It's because Tony D'Angelo doesn't want to play with him.
I mean that's true, right?
Yeah, it's true.
But you'd have to think that if the Kings are bringing in a right-hand defenseman, they have to trade one out. I'm gonna guess that's fair. It's kind of logical by the way they're using him. And I mean that would make the Kings instant contenders. They have a Vesna goalie, they have a solid offensive court, and they would have one of the better defenses in the league. And
Here's my idea. If they were trying to trade away Ethan Bear, don't you think they'd be playing him to try to get his value up?
That's what they've been doing because TDA's out now. He's been on the first pair.
That is true. I could see him going to Carolina, but I also see him primarily going to I could see him going to Florida or Calgary more than anything.
I think Calgary fit.
Calgary fits, but I just don't know if they have a lot of cap room to make it work. And I don't know for sure if they want to trade a guy like Poitier or a guy like Val Mackey. Trey Living is always that guy that's kind of quiet near the deadline. I know he just picked up the Foley, but I think Calgary likes their right side defense. I think Anderson's been great. Canada's been excellent. Gabranson surprisingly has been not crap.
Yeah, they have kind of an underrated defense core down there in Calgary. It just works.
Yeah, you brought that up there. Just thinking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Carolina's the team. If Toronto gets him, and that's also good, I guess. Him and Riley together. Number 5, Phil the Thrill.
Yes, bring him back.
That's actually one of the teams interested. Boston's another team interested, another former team, and Minnesota. And it's weird because
kind of interesting.
And it's weird. I can actually hear the cats scratching the door. But it's weird because there was a report that the Coyotes are offering Phil half retained for a third-round pick, and no one is buying, which is stupid.
Yeah.
Like, if you're getting Phil at a $3 million cap hit, worth a third-round pick, that's worth it. Like, I get he can't play defense, but he scores goals.
Yep, he can still score goals, and I mean, it's barely anything to give up, right? It's a third-round pick.
Yeah. And I think he will get traded. I think he goes back to Pittsburgh. That's where his best years were.
I hope he does. That'd be awesome.
I would say Pittsburgh or Boston.
I was gonna say Minnesota's kind of a weird one in there.
I think Minnesota needs to center it more than anything.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah,
maybe a goalie because Kakinen and Talbot have not been good.
Yeah, that's been weird too. They've kind of been crap recently. Don't know what's going on there in Minnesota, but
yeah, they're fine for wingers like Hartman, Kaprizov, Zuccarello. Like they're fine. Greenway, Boldy, Fiala. Like they don't need Kessel. I think Pittsburgh, especially since Phil knows Pittsburgh well. He knows the system, he knows the guys. We know he'll fit in there. I just think Pittsburgh would be good. Maybe it's Toronto. Who knows? Maybe he goes back to Toronto. I think that'd be good too.
And Pittsburgh has a history of Pittsburgh has a history of just like reacquiring players over and over again. So who knows? Could happen.
Yeah, I see Boston more than anyone else, but
that's fair. Yeah, Boston's depth has been really lacking over this entire year.
Yeah,
even defensively, like Swayman and Olmark are kind of the sole reason why they're in this wildcard spot right now because their defense is atrocious and they don't have no depth. They have none.
Yeah. We mentioned this before, right? Boston, they're just so decent. Like sometimes you say that as a good thing, but from the team that they used to be, like even just a year ago, and they've dropped off. And I guess this is like their last chance, pretty much, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I was going to bring that up. They have an aging core, so maybe you want to make a final push to make a run, and maybe Kessel's the guy to do it, kind of bring him back. But
like that's true. Like the only young players and note they have are Pasternak and McAvoy.
Pretty much.
Brusque, but they're trying to move on from DeBrusque.
He wants out. He wants out of Boston.
Yeah.
That 2015 draft is haunting them.
It is.
Just imagine that Shabbat or Kyle Connor. They're like,
so much better, but
No, instead they got Zach Senyshyn.
And Jacob Zaboral.
Number
6, Calvin DeHaan. And there's a shit ton of teams in on Calvin Hahn, and rightfully so, because he's a stable third. He's a high-end third pair guy, low-end second pair guy, and he's good defensively. And that's what you kind of need going into the playoffs. Teams interested: Calgary, Edmonton, Boston, Nashville, Colorado, Florida, Tampa, Washington, Toronto, and Vegas. And you know, I'm not just saying this because I'm biased, but I do think the team most likely to get him is probably Edmonton because they really need help on that defense, on the defensive end. You know, and the fact that the Hahn can play both sides, left and right, I think that's really beneficial because then you can try to move out a guy like Tyson Barrie at the deadline, just ship off his cap hit, try to bring in the Hahn, especially since he's a UFA, right? You know, he's going to be gone at the end of the year. You let him walk, but the Oilers really need defensive help. Nurse has been great this season. Evan Bouchard, bit rough patches defensively, but I mean he's 22. He'll grow out of it. CC actually hasn't been bad. Just he can't do anything offensively, which is fine. But you know, it's the bottom pair that needs solidifying. You know, I don't think you want to go into postseason with Marcus Niemelainen or William Laxton on your third pair. And DeHaan has played in hard playoff situations before, and he's been great defensively on a terrible Blackhawks team. So you know, I think Edmonton's most likely to get him, especially since he really fits Ken Holland's player build. You know, he's 6'1". He can't do anything. He can't skate. So you know, Holland's gonna love that. But yeah, I mean, like the Holland won't cost a lot at the deadline. Like he'll go for a third round pick, and I think that's worth it for a player of his caliber.
Yeah. I think you hit on every point, Shay. I was going to agree with you. Edmonton is a pretty decent fit. Obviously, other teams being Toronto, but I think they got Labushkin at that spot. Tampa,
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, Tampa,
Travis Smith.
Denver's just a cheat code. They're
yeah,
interested in everybody.
I think another team that could be in on them, but I don't think will actually get them, is Nashville. DeHaan is something Nashville really needs,
Yeah,
but the thing is I don't think Nashville will want to give the Blackhawks anything.
oh yeah,
Not lately, because the last time the two made a trade was, I think,
Ryan Hartman.
yeah, Ryan Hartman,
Yeah.
like in 2016 or 2017.
I think it was 2018, right?
No, because he was there in our series against them in 2017.
Yeah, so 2018 was when the trade was made, right? Is that what you're alluding to?
man, I don't even know what you guys
No,
are talking about. I remember the Ryan Hartman trade, but I don't remember
It's
the
been a
details.
long time since the two teams have traded.
I mean, but division rivals will really make a trade with each other, anyways.
Yeah,
When's the last time you saw a Toronto-Boston trade?
but here's the thing. I don't think Nashville will get him. I think they'll go for somebody who's lower down, somebody who won't cost as much as DeHaan.
I mean, you mentioned Robert Hogg before the podcast started. He's on this list, so we'll get to him.
Yeah, I'll start talking about why Nashville's looking for depth defense when we get to guys who I see more likely to trade, but I don't see DeHaan, even though he is somebody who Nashville would really need.
Right. All right, next. This one's a weird one because they literally just needed him captain, and that's Mark Giordano. I don't know why they named him captain first season when they're gonna trade him right away.
I don't think they were expecting to be terrible.
It's true.
I'm maybe.
I mean, maybe
we
Francis and
looked at
Hacksaw
the
weren't,
team.
but
We looked at the team. Saw that they completely threw the expansion draft and thought, these guys are gonna suck. But they didn't obviously see that. But okay.
And teams interested: Florida, Toronto, Calgary, St. Louis, Carolina, and as much as people are itching for a Gio to Calgary uni, a lot of Flames I've talked on Twitter said they don't really want that to happen. I think the team that's most likely is Florida, and I think he'd be a great fit for Florida.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. You know, he's obviously up there. He's 38. They'd have to work around the salary cap a bit. He's got a $6.75 million cap hit. They'd have to do some attention, maybe do some three-way trades or something, if Florida plans on making other moves. But you know, I think a first-round pick is probably a requirement in that trade in some way.
Yeah.
Past that prospect, maybe Florida could do it, and obviously he's Mark Giordano. I don't need to say much. He's gonna make your team better.
Yeah, and I do think Florida needs another defenseman. Like Ekblad's been great, Uyghur's been great, Forsberg's been good. But besides that, and Montour, besides that, they don't really have anything else. I think if he can push a guy like Gudas to third pair, or a guy like Montour to third pair, and you slot in Giordano, a veteran who's logged over 1,000 games, I think that'd be great for Florida. And I mean, yeah, he just makes that team so much more dangerous. And I already have them as the favorites. If they get if Bob Borowski just stays decent during the playoffs, I think Florida easily wins the cup. They're that good of a team, and Giordano definitely puts them over the edge.
Yeah, as we talked about last night off the podcast when we were all just hanging out in a VC, I think Nick and I talked about how it's a pretty good likelihood that we could see a rematch between Colorado and Florida this year.
That'd be fun, eh?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
It would be. Let's get rid of all the biases that we have. The most fun Stanley Cup final this year would be Colorado, Florida.
Yeah, for sure.
I just want to see some rats thrown on the ice again. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
Except your team ruined that because of your team's complaints and whines in this 2017 Stanley Cup final, you can't throw things on the ice anymore without a delay of game penalty.
Wow,
Oh, well,
Pittsburgh.
so be it.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe you guys shouldn't have whined so much about our catfish throwing.
It
bro.
wasn't my fault. I wasn't on
Yeah,
Pittsburgh
exactly.
when it happened.
Why are you
Why are you
going
talking
after
about
Nick? Yeah, seriously.
Don't-
What's this?
I just
I
go
don't
at
have Ron
Nick
Extell's
lately.
number. I don't have Lemieux's number. Like, what are you
Well,
texting me for?
Call them.
All right, number 8.
No.
And this is weird because over the last few weeks, we actually been hearing that the Canucks are going to keep this player and trade another player. The fourth period has JT Miller at 8, but we've been hearing more rumors about Connor Garland and Brock Besser, which is stupid.
Yes.
Yeah, Brock
What
Besser's insane.
100%.
I'm gonna
JR
choose
is
to
that,
ignore
baby.
those.
What is JR doing? I know Patrick Alvin's a GM, but it's mostly JR. Let's be honest. He's the one that's calling the shots. What's he doing? What's he doing?
He's the
Why
same
you-
guy who
why
traded away a first round pick for
Why,
fucking Patrick.
why are you
for-
trading Connor Garland?
Why-
He's 25. You just got him. He's on a good deal. Brock Besser's a 30 goal scorer. What are you doing? Why are you gonna trade those two guys and keep JT Miller, who's a UFA next year? Who's 29?
Yeah, it's puzzling. That's all I can say. I don't know what else to say because
It makes no sense.
exactly.
Yeah.
Man, Penguins fans are probably happy he's out.
Yeah, I'm very ecstatic.
I
And-
think what's
Say that
gonna
for all
happen.
fans.
What's gonna happen is it's gonna be like last year with Nashville. Remember last year with Nashville, where like 18 players were in trade rumors for the Preds last year, and then at the end of the day, 0 trades besides the good Branson trade were made.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's what's gonna happen with Vancouver. No trades are gonna be made except like a small one.
Yeah, it's gonna be like Luke Shen to Toronto for a 6th round pick.
Yeah, or getting a backup goalie because Halak's terrible lately.
But for Brock Besser's case, I think one team that makes sense is his hometown, in Minnesota, and there's been rumors about Fiala going back to Vancouver, so maybe that's a 1-for-1 trade. Maybe we'll see, but if they're gonna trade Besser or Garland, that's the biggest mistake they can make. Number 9, we got Jeff Beetry. And while I don't think it's likely to happen at the deadline, I think it's more likely to happen in the offseason. He has 3 more years left at a 6.25 cap hit, which is really rough because he's getting up there in age. And a team that's reported linked to him is Philadelphia.
Yeah, no. No.
You know why? You know, I don't know why they're gonna get him. But first of all, he's aging. He kind of sucks now. In Philly sucks. What's the point of getting Beetry? You're not contending.
Yeah.
And did you hear the rumor that they're going to extend Ristolainen at like $6 million at 6 years?
Yes.
They tried.
Didn't
he
No,
turned
he
it
did-
down.
He rejected that. He
Turned that one
declined that.
down. He thinks he's gonna get. He thinks he's gonna get as much money as Seth Jones.
I mean, hey, go get it, sure. But like, you know, if Philly
Screw up
gives him $8
Philadelphia
million,
even more.
exactly. Like if you're gonna have Beetry and Ristolainen down your right hand side, I feel so bad for Philly fans. Oh man,
I
that would
don't.
suck.
Yeah, that's rough.
You don't feel bad that they're gonna have pay Beetry and like Seth Jones almost 14-15 million down the right side for like 3-4 years.
No.
What a jerk.
You're a jerk, man.
For real.
Even
Yeah.
I don't feel bad. Even I feel bad, and I'm a fucking Pittsburgh fan. Come on.
Listen, I just like to see other teams suffer as long as it's not my favorite team.
Wow, you're
Jesus.
Wow.
You're a
Nice.
real psychopath.
Number 10.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't expect Petrie to get traded until the offseason. Number 10, and we kind of touched on him today, Jake DeBrusque. I think he does get traded at the deadline, to be honest. I think if you trade him over the offseason, his value actually decreases because he's a pending RFA with who can go to arbitration, and we know how arbitration loves to screw over teams sometimes. So I think his highest value, especially since he's actually been good the last few weeks, I think his value is high. I think they're gonna trade him at the deadline.
Kessel for DeBrusque.
What?
And the teams interested in DeBrusque, Arizona, Edmonton, hometown, of course, Seattle, and San Jose. And I think the team that gets him is Arizona. You saw with Nick Ritchie that they're okay with taking players with term that's a bit on the younger side. And I think that's what they're going to do here. I think Arizona's going to try to trade away maybe a veteran. You know what? Ross said, yeah, I could see a Kessel for DeBrusque.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
Obviously, I brought it up at a terrible time because you're getting to that. But I could see, Kessel going to Boston, DeBrusque going to Arizona, and then you throw in a couple other things on each side.
Like minor pieces, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
to
can see
even
that.
it out.
I actually really like that trade for both sides. I think that's perfect. Good job. You did something, Rossi.
Shut up.
But yeah,
Arizona's I could see them doing it if they don't get rid of Chikrin. If they get rid of Chikrin, I don't know if it's the right move, but
right.
I mean, maybe it's a Chikrin DeBrusque thing. Maybe they can find a deal there with Chikrin going to Boston. Who knows?
But DeBrusque is only 25, right? He's still kind
Yeah.
of young for that squad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I bet he's gonna be
I don't
so
know.
happy playing in an arena with 5K fans. So
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. You know how I feel about in between teams that aren't really pushing but aren't really rebuilding either. They just tend to never be good. So
All
right.
that's just how I feel.
Yeah.
Here's Tundra goal. We got to get all of us to go to Arizona's arena next year. We'll be like 5 of the 5,000 fans.
I'm not
Let's
going
go.
to Arizona. Are you crazy?
I mean, in the wintertime it'd be fun.
Maybe. Also, maybe not because it's Arizona.
It's also Arizona.
Arizona's a nice place.
Number 11.
We're getting off topic.
Yeah, we're really getting off topic here. Number 11, Hampus Lindholm. And Ducks have it's weird because what was it? 11 days ago, we did the buyers and sellers video, and we said that the Ducks will most likely be sellers. They've still been trending the wrong direction. And I think they're gonna sell. And Lindholm's a UFA. And he's one of the better defensemen on the market. And the teams on Lindholm are Tampa Bay. If Tampa Bay gets Lindholm, oh my God. The Rangers, Boston, Florida, Carolina, and Edmonton. And I think the team that gets him is Tampa Bay. I think it's Tampa.
That's
I'm just gonna be pissed off if Tampa gets
Hold
anywhere.
on, let me see who can they put on LTIR real quick.
They're
Let me
just
just
they're
check.
gonna do the 50% trade like they did with Savard.
They have 100,000 in cap space with LTR. They cannot do anything to make Lindholm worth 100,000 cap hit.
I think Rossi's right. They're gonna have to do some weird cap.
All right, who can they put on LTIR?
It's also Tampa Bay. Just saying.
Oh,
You know what? They're gonna put like Jan Ruda on LTIR, then do the 50%, the 75% retain actually, because 50% to a broker team, 50% to Tampa. That's what's gonna happen. And they're gonna trade away. They're gonna trade like Cal Foot in a first-round pick. That's what's gonna happen. I'm calling it right now.
Well,
He's
Tampa
gonna
Bay's
be.
gonna have to do a lot of circumvention to get.
Yeah, but you're saying that's a hard thing. It's Tampa Bay.
Yep, the
Nothing
cheaters. We know this.
Kucherov is just gonna go right back on LTIR.
Oh my
When
god.
Fuck regular
Kucherov got it-
season stats.
When they put Kucherov for LTIR in November, I was like, oh my god, not again. Just no.
Yeah.
Not again, please.
What was funny
Yeah.
is like the last 2 months of the regular season last year, he was literally practicing with the team, and every other team was like, "Wait a minute,
Yeah,
what
seriously.
what the hell is going on?"
Right.
And you know, the same thing
Yeah.
happened with Mark Stone. It's just like, oh, Jack Eichel skating
but
again,
big-
and then
but big-
immediately after, freaking Mark Stone goes on LTIR.
Yeah, but the funniest thing is that Vegas could actually miss the playoffs.
Oh yeah, you're right.
They
You're
could.
right. You're
That's
right.
the funniest
Imagine.
thing.
Oh
That
my
would be hilarious.
God.
Like, I mean, hey, I'll take playing LA in the first round. I'll take that any day of the week. Number 12, and this was interesting. Max Domi. He's been having a good year on the Columbus Blue Jackets. He's a UFA in July, and the team's interested: the Rangers, Toronto, and Colorado. And I think he gets traded. And I don't think it's to any of the teams we mentioned. I think he goes to a team that's kind of sneaky, you know, like a team that wants to make a push. You know, I'm gonna say Washington. I think that's my under the radar pick. I think he goes to Washington. The Caps' bottom six has been dreadful this entire year. And like they need to make noise. Like the last few playoff runs have been awful. 2019 first round loss in 7 games. 2020 they lost in the first round to the Isles in 5. Last year they lost to the Bruins in 5. They need to make a statement. And I think Domi's the way to go. I think he fits Laviette's playing style, and I think he'd be a good fit there. So I'm gonna go Washington. That's my under the radar pick.
Especially since Hagelin's out now for long term.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that could
for
be
sure.
that could be a straight up replacement there, and he brings some grindiness to the team as well. So
Yeah.
that's not bad if you have Wilson and Domi on the same team. It's not terrible.
I could see Domi going to Washington.
Looking at those 3 teams. If any of them, I don't think it's Toronto. I don't think it's Colorado. The one that I could see is the Rangers, because they're looking to improve on anything really except for their goaltender.
Yeah.
So anytime I see the New York Rangers, I'm gonna say they're gonna try for it because I can't tell if their management think that they're actually good or they know that they
They're
have
not
to
good.
improve.
They're not good.
Yeah. So I can't tell if they actually think that they're good because they seem to be in on a lot of these teams, a lot of these players. It's like they're trying to get better. So I can't really tell. But if I had to choose out of one of these three teams, I'd probably say New York.
That's fair.
I'd like to see him on Toronto. It'd be pretty fun, just so I can see him wear Tyroni's number.
Oh yeah.
It'd be
I
pretty
mean
cool.
that didn't work well with Foligno.
Yeah.
Well,
That did not work well.
maybe it'll work with Domi. I don't know. 2nd time, 3rd time, 4th time's charm. I don't know how many times it is.
Okay.
13, and this is what people are calling this year's Blake Coleman, Arturi Lehkonen. Lehkonen's so underrated too. He's
It's a
so
solid
He
player.
is.
It's a really solid
Yeah.
player.
I mentioned this when Bergevin was let go. Was about I think we had the pod an episode about it where we were talking about their future, and I mentioned Lehkonen could be a good trade piece for them.
Yeah,
And he's having a decent year, and he's actually, like you said, he's an underrated player. I like him. So
and the teams interested on him are Washington, Rangers, and Minnesota. And you guys are gonna hate me for this. The team I see getting this year's Blake Coleman is the team that got the last Blake Coleman, Tampa Bay. I think Tampa's getting.
Maybe.
I think Tampa's getting Lehkonen. I'm convinced. I think they just have such a smart staff there. The scouts, the analytics team, Julian Breezeball, they're really smart. They know. I think they know how good Arturi Lehkonen is, and I mean he's not. I mean contract wise, he doesn't cost a lot. So maybe I mean we can argue about the Hampus. I don't think they can easily make Arturi Lehkonen work, and they need, even though their ball six actually hasn't been bad. Corey Pierce on pace for 40 points. I think adding Lehkonen will make that group so much stronger, and I think they're gonna get Arturi Lehkonen as well. I think Tampa wants to keep the cup pushing, wants to keep getting those cups. I think they want to try for the 3-peat. I think they're gonna get Arturi Lehkonen. I think they're just that smart of a team to do that.
I'd say if I had to choose, I'd say Washington for the exact same reason you said. What's his name? Max Domi actually. I think he'd fit in really well. He'd probably if he's not in their bottom 6, he'd probably even find a spot in their top 6 if he's that good, honestly.
Yeah.
I think Washington would be a good fit because he scores. I don't think he's horrible defensively either.
He's pretty good. He's really good defensively.
Oh, he's really good. I didn't even know that. Okay, so that actually adds to it even more. So I think Washington, they're trying to make a final last push because even Ovi, he's having a good season, obviously, but I think since the start of the season where he was like on a torrid pace, I think he slowed it down a bit.
Yeah.
Which is expected. I think that time waits for no one, and like as good as Ovi started off, yeah, he started to slow down, and I think
He's 36 years old, right?
exactly, and everyone around him is slowing
He's
down.
he's still probably gonna get 50 goals.
Yeah, that's true. That he is. Probably gonna get 50 goals, and the Washington Capitals, they've been on a bit of a slide lately. And I think their game has been like the exact same way that Ovi's game has been. They started off really well. Oh God, 10 minutes
Oh,
left.
God. 10 minutes.
They started off really well, but they started to slow down lately. And I think just to add a bit of, I don't know, like steroids or something, they could speed up again. I think Lehkonen would be a good fit somewhere in their middle six.
I agree.
I think the Rangers is a little bit intriguing too when you look at their team, like their defense as well. They're not a very good. We talked about this before. They're not a very good defensive team. It's just
They're
Sturgeon's
terrible
really carrying that
5-5.
team. Yeah, so maybe if Lekkonen's that good on defense, maybe you'd like to add another bottom six forward possibly just to kind of improve that defense. You can put him on the PK. You can put him in those types of situations, and for the playoffs, that's really important.
Yeah.
So that might be a good fit as well. So I'm probably feeling the Rangers out of any of those teams, to be honest with you.
That's fair. For some of the smaller names, we'll just speed run it. 14's Travis Boyd, bomb 6 guy. That's what I mean. Any can pick him up. That's whatever.
He's going to Tampa Bay.
15 Ricard Raquel. Now, the team's interested in Raquel because once again, we're seeing the Ducks are going to sell. I think Detroit Raquel, Toronto, Pittsburgh, Boston, Tampa, Rangers. I've heard that Pittsburgh made an offer to Raquel consisting of POJ, a second round pick, and Jason Zucker. I think Anaheim might want to first in that deal back. And one of the teams linked on his website to Raquel are the Pittsburgh Penguins. And I do think that Pittsburgh will end up acquiring Raquel. Crosby's turning 35, shockingly, in August. Malkin's 36, 37 this year. Like, the cup window is very close to ending. Letang's a UFA. So, you need one last shot, and Raquel is going to help you dramatically in your top six. Trade an anchor contract away like Zucker. Podge's not going to help you right now. First round picks, whatever. I think you do that trade for Pittsburgh, and I think Raquel's going to end up being a Penguin.
Yeah, he's a few years removed from like a 30-goal year, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's actually he's a good goal scorer, so he'd definitely be a really good piece. I'd like to see him at Pittsburgh. Actually, that'd be a good move, especially if it's for that price. So be it. If you want to make a final run, then you give up guys like POJ. You give up draft picks like that. So
and it also gets rid of Jason Zucker, who
he's been pretty disappointing.
He's gotten the opportunities and he's never capitalized on them. If we're gonna be fair.
Yeah.
And that's the exact same reason I was about to say Boston, for all those exact same reasons, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yep.
16, Calle Yarncrow, UFA, $2 million. He's a bomb 6 guy. I think he's gonna go back to Nashville. I think he knows the team well. They know him well. He knows his role there. I think Nashville's gonna end up acquiring Yarncrow back.
I don't see the Nashville Predators acquiring Calle Yarncroc at the trade deadline. I see him coming back to us in the offseason.
Okay.
What I do see happening is I see Calle Yarncroc going and reuniting with his old coach and Peter Laviolette.
Washington, eh?
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Washington is in on him. They have been on him. Toronto is also in on him. But I see him going to Washington because Washington could use him. Now, Laviolette was very good in knowing what exactly Yarncroc needed to be successful. It's obviously something that Seattle hasn't figured out because of his.
Seattle hasn't figured out anything this year.
Yeah, but Laviolette knows how to use him. He'll know how to use him. He knows the kind of power play and penalty kill time to give him and everything. So I do see him going to Washington.
Yeah.
Nashville could try to acquire him, but I don't see that happening. I see Nashville getting him in free agency, if anything.
Okay.
Okay.
So number 17, we got Andrew Kopp from the Winnipeg Jets, who like we said a couple weeks ago, we don't know what the hell they're gonna do. They've been falling a bit more recently. Teams interested in him, the Rangers, it's I'm saying the same teams. I feel like Rangers, Bruins, Tampa, Toronto, Washington, Edmonton. I don't think he gets traded. And I think he walks in free agency.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
that gives him the choice.
Yeah, and I just don't know if I just think Winnipeg's gonna stand pat, and I don't know if Klopp really wants to stay there because he's getting 4 fine ice time because Dave Lowry loves his son so much. That's just really about it. I just think he walks in free agency and he doesn't get traded.
I'm gonna give a sort of I'm gonna give a hot take.
Nashville?
No. No, I'm gonna give a hot take though. The Winnipeg Jets become panic buyers this year because of Hellebuck.
I mean, if they really think Hellebuck can make that big push near the end, and I guess
I think they might panic buy to try to make a playoff push with Hellebuck.
I mean, it's not the worst take.
It's not the worst idea. If Hellebuck can get them in there, he can carry them through the playoffs.
He's
it's
good.
Just really
we know he's good.
If they can get in, and I just don't know if they can. I think there's 4 spots in the West wide open, and there's 5 teams: Edmonton, LA, Vegas, Dallas, Nashville. One of those teams are missing. I don't lump Anaheim, Vancouver, or Winnipeg in that group. And I just don't think Winnipeg should even go. Like, they've been slumping since November, and they fired. They didn't. I mean, well, Maurice resigned. They didn't. They replaced him with a worse coach. Like, it's kind of Winnipeg's own fault. And I mean, we'll see what happens. I just think they're gonna stand pat because this team is. It's not terrible, but it's not great. It's extremely mid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And let's be honest, the only way that Winnipeg gets in is if Vegas and Dallas fall off really hard.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas has been,
which could happen.
I mean, Vegas is 3-6-1 in their last 10 games.
Yeah.
So
you could look to other teams falling off, like Edmonton or Nashville. And
Edmonton's been fine under Woodcroft.
Yeah. Edmonton's been fine lately. Nashville hasn't been fine since the All-Star break, but
like Edmonton literally outplayed. They outplayed Tampa. The only reason why we lost that game is because Mike Smith decided to pull on Mike Smith and let three goals on 1 expected goal. Isn't that lovely?
And it went. And in terms of Nashville, they've been free falling lately, but
I mean, Nashville's been kind of inconsistent. They had that 10-game winning streak, right?
We've only been inconsistent since the post All-Star break, but you have seen signs of improvements. Even with Nashville's free fall since the All-Star break, they are still in a good position. They hold the first wild card spot. So
but Dallas is right behind them.
I could see Nashville just coming back because they could just turn it back on again.
You never know.
We've seen flashes of them sort of showing their form that they had in December with the Stadium Series game and the game against Seattle.
Right.
They just need to get more consistent. But I could see Winnipeg panic buying because of Hellebuck.
Yeah. Number 18, and this is the thing. This is the first guy we're gonna say is gonna resign. Ristolainen. Have fun, Philly, with your $6.5 million new defenseman.
He turned down a 6.3. What is he gonna want?
He's gonna want $7 million.
He's gonna want 8. Everyone else is
I
getting
don't get
8.
it. Why does he think he's so good?
I don't know.
He's big.
He doesn't. He looks at other defensemen who are getting a lot of money, and he's like, "Oh, Seth Jones gets 9. I could get 8."
Okay, because Ristolainen hasn't played a playoff game in his career. He thinks he can be an impactful guy in the playoffs. So basically, he's a right-hand, more shitty version of Ben Sherratt.
Yeah.
Man, I just think it's funny. Jay Fresh had like a couple polls on Twitter, and like half of the people on Twitter ended up saying that they wouldn't even want him for $1 million,
including. Well, I said I'd pay 2, but I didn't go any higher than that.
Like, there's some terrible players that if they can make $1 million, they're not bad. Like, if Tyson Berry made $1 million, like, he's fine. He's fine with $1 million on the third pair. I don't even know if I would give Ristolainen a league minimum contract. I
I'd
don't
take
know,
him.
man.
You know what? I'd take him over Ben Harper.
Leafs legend, Sens
Mhm.
legend. Number 19, Brett Kulak from Montreal. I think this is a guy that's definitely gonna go. No teams are linked. One team I would like to see in on him. I know I mentioned him with the Han, but the Oilers. Kulak is from Edmonton. He's cheap. He's been really He's been really good defensively for the Canadiens on third pair time, and that's just a guy that makes your depth stronger. It makes you a better team. There's nothing wrong with adding third pair defenseman, right? And I think his asking price would be like a fourth round pick, kind of like Kulikov last year. He's going to be worth it. Any contending team could add Kulikov. I just threw Edmonton out there as an example, but Toronto can easily get him. Carolina, like anyone.
Nashville could be in on him. Any team looking for
We could get him.
defenseman.
Any team could get him. He's cheap.
List a team that's looking for defenseman, and there you go. That's a team that could get him.
Maybe not Colorado, but yeah. Besides that,
Yeah.
20, and this is a guy that we've been talking about since the start of the season, and that's Dylan Strome. Two teams that are linked, interestingly, aren't contenders or rebuilders: Ottawa and Columbus.
Yeah, I've only really heard about Ottawa's
Ottawa.
interest. I haven't heard about Columbus at all, really.
And I don't know what you would want back for Dylan Strome. Like if it's Ottawa, like if you're Ottawa, do you do like a Branstrom and a second for Strome? Because Branstrom hasn't been the greatest in Ottawa. Like would that entice Chicago?
I think it
I
would
don't
definitely
know.
entice Chicago. I just don't know if like Strome's good, obviously.
Yeah.
I can't really tell you. He's been like over the years. He's been kind of inconsistent. Sometimes he was good. Sometimes he's not. This year he's been decent. It's really hard to tell. I really don't know. I think Brandstrom and who else did you say, Shay?
A second round pick.
A second round pick.
Yeah, I think that'd be enough to get him. But
Yeah.
I don't know I don't even know what either of the teams think, to be honest, because he's kind of a hit and miss in my opinion.
Yeah.
The only thing about the Blackhawks in terms of trading or selling is of Kyle Davidson's approach. He says he wants to go on a full rebuild, but they can't do that.
Yeah.
Until they move Kane. Yeah.
Until they move Kane. Seth Jones making $9.5 million.
Like I could see Ottawa trading for Dylan Strome. I think that they'll get him if anyone does.
I don't think Ottawa's that bad of a team. Like I just think that they always start off the years rough. Like here's this thing. Last year in the North, right? When they started 1-9-1, if they won just half those games, say if they went like 5-5, right? They would be in the playoff spot. Like in the North, they would have been in the playoffs. And same thing here. I wouldn't say they would be in the playoffs in the East. I mean, the East is just a gauntlet of teams. But if they just started the season okay, like they'd still be in the race. I don't think they're that bad of a team. And Matt Murray
They're not at all.
And Matt Murray's been good. Like I'm happy for Matt Murray. I think he really needed that closure with Pittsburgh, and I'm happy he got it. And he's been so good since.
Yeah.
Like I think Ottawa's a sneaky team to watch next season. And if they add Dylan Strome, that's just another piece going forward because you're not really using Brandstrom. You have a lot of defensemen on the back end. You have Sanderson and Chabot on your left hand side. There's no room for Brandstrom. Lassie Thompson, Bernard Docker. It's stacked on the defense. So I think that's a worthwhile price to pay for Strome.
Yeah,
and he's only
I
24.
agree.
He's only 24.
Yeah, he's young. He fits into their time frame.
21. It's another Hawk, and a guy that I think is actually going to stay, and that's Fleury. Two teams that are linked on him are Washington, but from what I've heard, Washington's tried acquiring Fleury many times, and he keeps rejecting. And Colorado, but they've been great with Kemper. So I think Fleury's going to stay. I think Fleury's.
I agree. I don't think he's going anywhere.
I think he retires. I think this is the last season.
I think he So we mentioned in that video a while ago, if Colorado's gonna do anything, they're gonna try to get a goalie. They've obviously done well with Kemper. Kemper himself hasn't been amazing, but still, he'd probably be enough if they did anything else to their team. They're just that good.
Yeah.
Fleury, I think his career is winding down. He's up there in age. He's been one of the better goalies of the last couple of decades since he started playing. I think it's time for him to just, finish the last season. Doesn't need to play the playoffs and kind of just end it there because I think
won a lot.
Yeah, he has. He's done a lot, and I think he also mentioned that I think he's gonna stick around in Chicago. I think I saw a report.
Yeah,
saying
he
that.
doesn't want to leave. I think that's a good indicator.
Yeah, I think the talks on Fleury are done.
Yeah, and even if he did want to waive his, clause, I don't see him getting moved to any team besides
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh or Vegas.
I don't think he wants to go back to Vegas after what they did to him.
No, hell no, not
That's
Vegas.
true.
I think Vegas is
That's
out of the
true.
cards.
Yeah,
Out of the plans.
Pittsburgh only for like the sentimental reasons, but like even then, it doesn't make sense as a hockey.
Yeah,
move.
even then he got
Yeah.
screwed over by Pittsburgh and Vegas.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
Pittsburgh, not really. I think
don't
they
know about
probably
Pittsburgh.
told him
Come
he's
on.
gonna move him.
like I keep the 22-year-old that just got back-to-back Stanley Cups, right?
Yeah, like he knew. There's no way he didn't. That's a hockey move. You gotta
that
do
is
it.
true. That is true.
22. Interesting guy. Cal Clutterbuck, fourth liner for the Islanders. Teams reported Minnesota, Colorado. I'm pretty sure Clutterbuck played for Minnesota.
He did.
Yeah, so I mean, if
Did he? He did, I think. Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I know we just said Minnesota doesn't need more wingers, but I mean, I guess I say he goes to Colorado because why not? He's a defensive guy, shutdown guy. It's whatever. It's not that big of a deal if he gets traded or not.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even. He
It's
doesn't
like-
make
I
any
don't
see-
difference. He doesn't
I don't
matter.
even see him moving, to be
He
honest.
doesn't matter. He's so.
Doesn't matter. 23.
Why wouldn't you move him? They signed fucking Ross Johnson for 4 years. They don't need a guy
Yeah.
like Clutterbuck anymore.
23. We got Travis Konecny from Philly, and so it says here Philly team close to moving Konecny in the offseason. So I think that means it's potential he could be traded here. Maybe this could be the man for this year, right? Teams linked LA, Toronto, New Jersey. I'm gonna go with none of those teams, and I'm gonna say Minnesota. And I know they have him listed as a winger here, but I'm pretty sure Konecny can play center.
He can.
And Minnesota needs a center. They really do. Eric Snack is good. Frederick Gaudreau as the first line center is not ideal. I'm not calling Frederick Gaudreau bad or anything, but he's not a first line center that you want going into the playoffs. They need a true first line center, and right now I would consider Travis Konecny a second line center. But with the players Minnesota has here in the development core they have, I think he can blossom there. Like imagine a lineup of Konecny, Kaprizov, and Zuccarello.
Yeah.
Like that'd be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Konecny's kind of a do-it-all player. He can be physical. He can score. He can pass. He's got good hockey sense.
Pretty good.
Not a bad fit for many.
I think that's my take on that.
I couldn't have told you. I think Shea came up with a pretty good option. I couldn't have told you one if I had to think of one on the spot. So.
Yeah, I can't think of one except maybe him going to New Jersey for something. But
New Jersey's. I mean, let me just. Okay, no, he's not on this list. But New Jersey, it's weird. New Jersey has been linked to Besser, and there's been like the Zaka for Besser swap, and I'm like, really?
No.
Why would that? Yeah.
Like, really? I don't
In
know
their
what.
dreams.
I don't. Okay, it's whatever. 24. Vladimir Mestikov probably going to be dealt to a contender. I think a couple years ago he went to Colorado. Some contender will pick him up. It'd be funny if he went back to Tampa Bay. I'm pretty sure he's playing for the Rangers, so the Rangers want to reacquire him too. Why not?
I swear, Vlad. I swear, Lemestikov has been passed around at every single trade deadline.
I know, right?
It's true.
But he's a good player. He's
He
a good
is.
bottom six guy.
Yeah.
we need the traveling Nemstikovs instead of the traveling
Yoggers.
Yagers.
You know what? Let's just go with Carolina because why not?
Carolina, go.
In the next
Do it.
team,
We just need a new.
25th, we got Justin Braun. And now, on a terrible Philly team, Justin Braun, according to Jay Fresh this year, 98th percentile on even strength defense. That's amazing. And for a guy that's 34, too. I think whoever gets him is going to get a great player for the third pair, and it won't cost a lot either. He's only making $1.8 million. Teams linked Calgary, Boston, Toronto, Nashville. I'm going to say he ends up in Boston because they really need defensive help.
Yeah. Calgary. I don't. I think Calgary needs something a bit bigger. Just
Toronto got Labushkin.
Yeah, Toronto got Labushkin. Nashville. I don't even. Rossi could probably explain that, but I think actually no, he would probably fit, right, Rossi?
Yeah,
Actually,
because the main thing that Nashville needs right now is depth defensemen. You don't want a situation like last year where Fabro and I think Ekholm also were hurt last postseason,
I thought
and
they
they ended.
scratched Fabro.
No, Fabro was hurt,
Oh,
and that's what I want to talk to you about the other day because I found out that Fabro was actually hurt and wasn't just scratched. So you don't want a situation last year where Fabro and Ekholm get hurt, and then you're left playing Goodbranson and Harper. You don't want that. They have Myers for depth defenseman, but then they need another one because you do not want Harper, and you even might want an upgrade from Myers. Justin Braun would be a very good fit as a depth defenseman if Borowiecki or Benning or anybody else gets hurt.
Right.
But I would probably see Braun go to the Flyers. I mostly see the guy that Nashville does get is Robert Hagg.
That's actually 26. You want if you want to talk about that right now, like he's literally that guy.
Yeah, it could just be just a quick 2-over. Robert Hagg definitely. I could see him Buffalo getting rid of him. He's been in links so far. Nashville does need depth defensemen.
Yeah.
The only downside of Robert Hagg is he's a left-handed defenseman when what the Predators need is more right-handed defensemen.
Yeah.
But I could see Hagg being acquired by the Predators. He'd be very cheap. So
the other
why
two
not just
teams
do it?
on Hagg or Calgary, Edmonton. I'm not really sold on Hagg. I'm not really the biggest fan of him, but we'll see what happens. 27. Jonas Corposalo, but I'm pretty sure he's injured now, so I don't think he gets moved.
Yeah, I think that's a summer move.
I mean, he's a UFA this summer, so he's probably gonna just sign somewhere.
Yeah, I don't think he gets traded, especially since he's injured.
And
28.
he's been bad.
Yeah, he's been terrible. 28. Chris Tierney from Ottawa. This is an interesting one. I don't think he moves. I think he's a fine third line center, but I mean, if there's an offer out there for him, I guess someone can take it. I don't really know who.
He maybe could be added in the Dylan Strome deal.
I mean, maybe but I don't know. Like, would you Tierney doesn't really fit the Hawks timeline though.
No.
Yeah, that's why it's just like a maybe. I don't know. I don't see him getting moved.
Yeah. That's whatever. He probably doesn't get moved.
It's not a big deal anyway.
Almost on the list. We're almost done. Alex Georgiev. I mean, I think this is more of an off-season move considering he's an RFA. He wants to be a starter. I don't know if he will be. Teams linked Edmonton and Vegas. I just think either the Rangers don't qualify him because I think his qualifying offer is gonna be like around $2.53 million. And I just think the Rangers are going to value him so much, and no team's going to give up the assets the Rangers are asking for. So I don't see him getting traded. I think he'll actually become a free agent come July.
Yeah, I think so too because, like you mentioned, he has a lot of value to him. He could be a starter. He may, but it's kind of in the middle there. Some team will probably sign him as a tandem in the offseason. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
5 more. 6 more. Nick Letty from Detroit, $5.5 million this season. No teams are linked on him as of right now. I mean, if some team wants to have Letty at 50%, they can. Once again, if anyone just wants a third pair defenseman, they'll acquire him. I don't know who though, considering he's been kind of really bad on a decent Detroit team. No, we'll see. I don't think.
I don't see he gets moved, and if he does get moved, I don't think it's for much of anything.
I think he's just a UFA this summer, and he might not even get signed in the offseason, to be honest.
Yeah, he might not. He might go just retire.
Yeah.
31. Mikko Koskinen. I don't think Koskinen gets traded.
Nah, he sticks around.
No.
I mean, he's been actually not bad over the last 9 games. He's 7-0-2. Has a .925 save percentage over that span, which is pretty good. Pretty good stretch for him. I mean, but he's not a starter though. He's a fine backup, just making a bit way too much money. And if the Oilers were to deal him, it would have to be to a bottom feeder team, and the Oilers would have to get a starting goalie from somewhere else. I just don't see it. I think he's sticking around. Yeah. 32. We got Travis Dermott from Toronto. I think he gets traded for like a bigger piece. I don't know. Q can.
So they can make room for Ben Sherrod. Clearly.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Ben
yeah.
Sherrod.
Sure. I don't know, Travis Dermott. Obviously, there's no spot on the Leafs anymore. I think that's clear. But honestly, if I had to choose between him and Hall, I'm choosing Hall. Dermott. Sorry.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
honestly, I don't know why, but it seems like Hall has a lot more value for whatever reason, even though he's been a lot worse this
Right,
season.
right shot. That's why.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, I forgot
Right
about
shot
that.
defensemen are always sought after.
Even if they're not good, which is I'm not complaining if you can move Hall for a first or something. I don't know, not a first, but
Yeah.
I think Hall he gets paid more. If the Leafs want to make a move, they need a bit of cap space, even because they have mentioned that Muzzin's probably gonna. If Muzzin gets back before the playoffs, they're not gonna hold him out. So
Which I don't agree with. Like, I just think just keep him healthy till the playoffs. Like, you don't want to risk him injuries, something else, especially since he has a lot of injury issues.
yeah. I would agree with you. I think it's more about the circumvention thing. He's gonna be on LTIR. I think that's the thing. But
That's
I think other than that, I honestly moving Dermott now, and he's got a couple of years left. So he signed for a year after this. So I don't think it's I don't think it's imperative that you move him now. I think the bigger one to move is Hall, so that you can just make cap space to make another type of move.
right.
But anyways, it's not honestly if it's between him and Hall, I'd choose to move Hall, but it's not that big of a deal.
Right. Three more. 33. Vitaly Kravtsov. Teams linked to Vancouver and Montreal. We know Kravtsov has a lot of skill. I've been really high on him. The Rangers just can't develop for anything, which I guess
not at all.
we can do a podcast on that another day. But
Yeah, at least Lafreniere's been good recently. But
Yeah.
it's hard to remember he was a first overall pick. I always kind of forget about that.
yeah,
I don't know.
How do you develop a star? You play him like a star, and finally you play him on the first line, and he's
oh my
actually
god,
doing
he's
good.
good.
It's
Who
insane.
knew?
Never thought of that, but yeah.
I feel like Laugh was like the worst place to go to, like New York, because they already had Kreider and Panarin on the left wing, so like he was gonna get buried there no matter what.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've been forcing him to play center.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I'm not sure. I don't think that.
It's hard to convert a winger. It's easier. I mean, let's just say it's obviously easier for a center to play winger than a winger to play center.
Oh,
That's
100%.
100%, right?
Like I'm trying to think. There aren't that many players that have gone from winger to center.
Right. There's
Druin?
been some. Duren.
I mean, Engvall, but
Montreal.
that's a big deal.
Galchenyuk.
Yeah, Galchenyuk. Yeah, it's just Montreal trying to convert players and then ruining them because of it. But yeah,
they're gonna call for a 5'8" center.
yeah.
But Vancouver's interesting because earlier in the year when the JT Miller trade rumors were a thing, there's rumors about like a Kravtsov for plus whatever for JT Miller, and I think that would actually be a decent trade for Vancouver, unlike this Garland Besser stuff we're hearing.
Yeah.
Right, but we'll see.
But Garland Besser would be more fun.
Yeah, of course. 34. PK Subban.
Nah, he's not moving. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say that right now.
$9 million
No
cap
chance. He's bad.
They'd have to retain him 50%.
It would be 75%.
Yeah, they'd have to do that, and even a team that needs like depth defending, like Nashville, he's not defensive enough to warrant it.
75%. That's 2.2. Like then he's at a 2.25 cap, but even then, I don't think that's really worth it.
Because a lot of teams are looking for a defensive right-handed shot defenseman, which that's not what Subban is.
You think they'll do like an 85% trick, or there's like two broker teams, so 50% to one team, 50% to the other team, 50% to the next team, so he's at like a 1.6 cap hit?
That's just stupid at that point.
Even then, I don't know what teams are looking for an offensive right-handed shot defenseman
to play on their bottom pair. Yeah,
but
he's not good.
It's PK.
He should just retire, okay? We all want him to be an analyst more.
You know what? Screw it. Carolina.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
To play with Tony D'Angelo.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah, that's not going to work well. If they're benching Bear on the third period, you think they're going to play Subban?
Okay.
And the last player on here, which I don't think is moving at all, Anton Khudobin.
No.
His contract sucks too much. He's not going to move anywhere.
I knew that contract was going to be bad as soon as they signed it. They paid him after one playoff run.
Yeah.
That's why you don't pay players in their contract years.
Nope.
And that's what's going to happen to Kadri when he gets like $10 million from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's
We've been going
us.
for a long time.
Yeah, man, I'm tired. I still have work to do. I don't know why I did this
I
for this
got
long.
food.
All right. So just a reminder though, guys. 17 days we will have the trade deadline stream for you.
Woo!
That's gonna be fun. Last year was painful. Hopefully this year it's not as painful. But yeah,
Don't
we'll
worry,
see.
I've got some ideas to keep it entertaining.
Oh
So yeah, this is
wow,
what-
It goes
Rossi
beyond
entertaining
it goes
ideas.
beyond
Wow.
predicting things and beyond trolling on Wikipedia.
So yeah, this will probably be the last video. We might have one more video before then, but this is probably the last video podcast before the deadline. Because I mean, we'll still make the trade videos and stuff, but this is probably the last podcast before the stream. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully the next 17 days are interesting. So
Yep.
yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.